the first one, matching price to value. If the price to value equation is way off, there's something that's not right. Years ago, I worked at a direct marketing agency, and it was common knowledge in the world, right? Everybody you talk to, they would say, oh, direct mail, because direct mail was big and we sold a lot of direct mail services. They would say, I should expect a 1% return, and that's a good response rate. And that was wrong. It was actually wrong. The correct return was to look at the cost of the mailing and then look at the return, the actual return that came in sales, and then use that to determine whether or not, how far off you were from realizing return on investment. And then there was a whole nother equation that we did with multiple mailings and measuring it over time. But the idea that there was always this, we were always battling this idea, and I still battle this idea, that there is a solution out there where I can spend $10 and I can get $200 in return, which is a tremendous return on investment. And those things are out there. There's just not very many of them. And really what ends up happening is when you have big returns on investment like that, in order to grow your business, you need to blend them with the really low returns. So in your portfolio of things that you're generating return on, right, you're going to have some things that are just barely give you dollar for dollar. At the same time, you're going to have these things that give you, 200 to 1 returns. In going after that, when you're talking to people, if they are talking about needing a solution that solves a problem, how much is this problem costing you? Well, it's employee turnover problem. We have, I employ 2,500 people and we've got a 40% turnover because it's hardcore sales, and we'd like to get that down to 20%. And so we put the numbers to that and we come up with, I'm just going to round this up, we say $1 million. And I say, okay, what are we willing to invest in that? Normally what I'm used to is that something along those lines, all in, not just my fee, but everything else that goes into it, you're going to be investing somewhere around $250,000, $300,000. Sounds about right to get that kind of benefit, because once it's locked in place, you get it for multiple years, right? So at that $1 million benefit, you get over 3 years. And so that's where I come up with that $300,000, just back of the envelope math, ballparking. And if they say, no way, we never do anything like that, we're looking for something, we have $5,000 to invest in a training program for our HR people or for our managers that's going to reduce turnover. That's what I mean by matching price to value. If the price and the value are way off like that, you gotta figure out what the problem is, why it's like that. And then, there's a lot of things, probably not talking to the right buyer, but also you're just never going to win that. Cause even if you give the absolute best, I bumped my chair again. Even if you give the absolute best training, the chances of them actually realizing that benefit is low. So that's matching price to value. You should always be aware of how those two things work together. And you're always testing your gut on it. If it's a $50,000 a year tax benefit that they get, which is straight to their bottom line, and they're unwilling to invest $20,000 in your solution to get it, there's something off. Either A, they probably don't believe that, there could be a lot of reasons, but instead of getting at all those little questions, just always remember to match price to value and double check it against your own knowledge of what's realistic and how it works. That helps.